this guy's channel is called Nuclear Grifter. I can't imagine that is. I mean, just, you know, it screams douchebag. This is the last thing he did, I guess. Anyone else feeling culturally enriched? I can't believe his face is the fucking. He makes his face the thumbnail of these. Okay. This is called Anti-White Propaganda is Reaching Absurd Levels.
What's the most dangerous animal on the planet?
Shark.
White people, when they feel uncomfortable.
Well, I'd say...
That's fucking true, though. Are you serious? You disagree with that? I would make like a factual argument toward white people being the number one most dangerous animal on the planet, for sure. Like, some dudes, like Viking bros, love that kind of shit. They're like, yeah, we are.
The propaganda is ramping up. I wonder what agenda it is that Hollywood is serving by demonizing white people. What possible impetus might they have by producing a film absurdly labeling white people as dangerous animals? They must really dislike white people to continue to financially invest in these guaranteed flops. And of course, they'll contrive whatever absurd rationale it is they need to use to justify their hatred.
Their hatred. Man, So this guy's gonna be really mad that white people get made fun of sometimes? Fuck, bro. The movie looked okay. It looked okay, maybe a little on the nose. We'll see.
If you feel accosted or persecuted by propaganda like this, it means you've resisted conditioning. You still use your five senses as they were intended, much to...
You've resisted conditioning that you feel offended by the movie? Okay. We're very tender over here in the new grifter sphere. Okay.
The chagrin of globalist oligarchs. It is not cool to tolerate everything and question nothing. That behavior makes you an idiotic loser. Of course, if you've been successfully...
Very strong argument. Tolerating stuff makes you a loser. All right, man. God, he's edgy. This has some Irish laddie vibes, if I'm honest. There might be a turnaround in the future.
Conditioned, you now mistake tolerance for virtue and obedience for bravery. Being scared to hit back twice as hard makes you a pussy. When certain people use their immense wealth and influence to demonize your genetic makeup, it's your responsibility to rebuke them. It is not the disenfranchised
to rebuke them. He's very smart, guys. Please believe it. It would make me believe that you were smarter if you had books in your background, but he is making direct eye contact into the camera. So that's good. His phone that's on his ring mount in his bedroom or whatever.
That intend to victimize you. It's members of the highest societal caste promoting this ideology to serve their own ends and utterly fuck you. While 79% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 24 believe that white people are oppressors and that this ideology should be favored today at universities and for employment, remember that these children live in a faux reality until they actually enter the workforce.
Okay, so even entering the workforce, white people are the oppressors in that space as well. Yeah, it's not like every white person, right? It's usually based on a, well, there's sort of like a social order. So, wealthy to poor, white to black, essentially, and it's those two gradients those are two sliders that determine your, favorability in the United States historically, or disfavorability rather. On the other side, so like, he's not gonna think about any of this though, right? Utterly fuck me. Yep. He's got a nice mic. He doesn't have a pop filter though, so sometimes he be popping.
It's the failure of educational bodies to rebuke communist doctrine and protect children from the cancer spilling out of Hollywood, making self-hate and victimization cool.
Dude, he's just like repeating Tim Pool, but he's trying to like. At least he's not James Somertoning, right? Huh? There you go. The baddie. This sounds like his own words because it sounds like he's trying very hard to write a high school report that he's above. You know, it's like community college debate, bro.
And new generations will pay the price by being poor, dumb, and depressed. That'd be a pretty good book title. The self-aware ones will be just fine, though. In fact, postmodernism is making a lot of room for those with heads on their shoulders. Meanwhile, new white generations will continue to grow more and more disenfranchised, and regard for the persecution complexes of these whining idiots will reach new devastating lows.
Dude, is this every video where it's just like a droning fucking video essay of how he's really mad about the wokies? Whew. Hey chat, what's up? Well, we're watching this guy for the first and probably last time. We need further out. Your head is too close, so you need a wider shot. We need to get like a 3/4. Let the man titties out a little bit, and I need some space above you to look. Like, it's just, you feel way too fucking close. Hopefully chat feels like you're further away because you're sort of in like a little screen. But for me, you're on my middle screen. You're just big. You're huge.
It's a common position now on the left to actually endorse segregation.
And I'm a big believer in affinity space and affinity work. And I think people of color need to get away from white people.
Yeah, let's see how that works out for you. You want to see...
Yeah, nice cut, dude. So I think it's totally fine if you want to have a little white people get together like you always do. Like, white people just have white spaces all the time, and we don't even talk about it, and we normalize it. Because like your family's white, right? And you grow up a lot and you have only white gatherings all the time. You don't even consider it to be like something. But you would definitely be like, oh, there's someone who isn't white here at this all white gathering, and you would talk about it because you're deeply racist. But like, so why can't they also have like their little gatherings with themselves? No one's talking about like full-on segregation. They're saying like, I think it's fine if you have like a community event and you just want, your fucking the black community to show up for your Black History event or something like that. Like, I don't know, why do you feel the need to include yourself in it? This is like such a weird white guy thing where they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm excluded from this little thing. Like, I don't care. Do your groups. I don't care. Like, societal integration is what you want, but you want it under the you don't want societal integration. You want societal assimilation. You want people to assimilate towards white hegemony for some reason. You're just compelled to do it. He's wearing flannel and denim. Well, I think it's lined with denim, but maybe not.
The actual institutionalized racism? Here are some slides within IBM's corporate training explaining how white people work and why being white is bad. What does do the work mean? What gets missed? What about black excellence, black joy, achievement, contribution? Black is beautiful. Wait, what? I like how they just randomly interjected that tagline in there. That does not fit here. Black intelligence, black innovation. The problem? White people.
White erasure. But I mean, the way that this slide comes across, it seems like a liberal got a hold of some ideas that the left actually has and put it through a liberal filter. But like, I mean, so the topic of black excellence being erased by white people is true. We could talk about these other things as well, but like, like Black Wall Street is a great example of this. Although I have some issues with that in general because it's, a pursuit of capitalism, but it's under the capitalism, so it's like not the big deal. But, whatever. They work because capitalism. We all work because capitalism. That's, I mean, he doesn't know.
Have you ever seen propaganda this blatantly fucking ridiculous? This is illegal, by the way. What's been under the microscope? Black everything. The real problem? White people. Well, that explains everything. How do white people work? Divide and conquer. Okay, white people are the scum of the earth. Power. White is the default. Everything else exists in proximity to it. Whiteness constructs the game, hides the rules, and then rigs the game over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, this is like not a deeply analytical take on this, but it is. I mean, yeah, it's sort of true. Yeah, it has some lib things. There's some liberal vibes going on here, but it seems very Carmen from Black White. Like, oh my God, so I feel so ashamed. So white culture is the dominant culture in the United States. and a lot of the West. And the expectation by that dominant culture is for other people to adopt white culture instead of having whatever cultures they have. You try to force desperately onto them a specific culture, when instead you could just like not be weird about it and just let everyone exist, and eventually over time our cultures would meld where they do, and they won't where they don't, you know. But they make such a big deal about it, like, where they're actually, our culture is the best. You have to talk this way and dress this way and act this way, and you can't name your kids this, that. You can't, you know, you have to use proper English, and you have to you know, do all these things. Anyway.
Are you sure we're not talking about politicians and the media here? Yeah, what exactly does any of this have to do with building
unaffected
computer systems? This is happening because extremely wealthy multinationalists want to demoralize you as much as possible. And because money talks, everyone's going along for the ride. Top down, because employees are effectively powerless to resist this evil. This is global fascism. This is authoritarianism.
Fascism and authoritarianism because they have bad racism seminars at IBM, dude. Like, no problem at all with the concept of IBM, the company. Like, the conglomerate, you don't have a problem with any of that. You're at the fucking World Economic Forum in this one. No problem at all with the billionaires. So it's capitalism, right? Yeah. We're mad at the corporations. Good first step.
And they're not hiding it. It's practically a religion at this point. Oh, look, they even have their own 10 woke commandments.
What? They have the 10 woke commandments that nobody fucking knows or follows.
And a blatant mockery of Christianity.
A blatant is you're a Christian too? God, he's so fucking butthurt by everything. In a blatant a list of 10 things is a blatant mockery of Christianity. Oh my God, whatever will God do? So powerless against a list of 10 things. Fuck, dude. He wants to be crucified so bad. Shit. Please, I'm the victim. Actually, oh my gosh. Good God, dude.
What is this, the fucking KGB? Your allyship commitment accepts these fundamental truths. Openly acknowledge.
That was terrible, dude. Man, I was kind of hoping that he would be a little funny and smart or something. I don't know. I haven't heard of him. I thought maybe he's been doing some videos. Maybe people. He just. White guilt. He does stupid bait videos, man. He changed the thumbnail to this because now people watch the video. I guess it worked. The thumbnails before were bad. You're right. I don't know, dude. He just wanted to show everyone his Russian accent. Yeah. That pork be smelling good.
Privilege and systemic racism exist and result in trauma.
Cooking pork.
Never question the reality of our black friends and colleagues. Reject the idea that race is political. Accept that white people are responsible for dismantling racism. Understand only white people are racist. Know the black community owe us nothing in this work. Require acknowledgement and repair of inevitable mistakes. Is never rooted in white saviorism. See the black community as a group of individuals and not a monolith. Half of these things contradict their own narrative. You're making black people a monolith. And why is this only about black people? You know, there's other races too. Are they not also affected by white supremacy?
White supremacy? So, I mean, do you think that there was a distinct issue that black people in America faced historically that sets them apart from other minority groups within the country when we are talking about this subject? And I agree that the list comes across as cringe. There are definitely ways to do this. This is liberals. I mean, we can talk about this in ways that make a lot of sense. Yeah, man. He comes across as so fucking butthurt and offended. And he's kind of putting on the tone that he's not. I'm like, I don't care. But then he's like, I can't, in an affront to Christianity, your list of 10 things.
Do not seek recognition or praise for a job well done. That's reserved for the black people. Greeks came to Africa as students to discover what Africans already knew. Writing, science, and medicine were already a part of African civilizations. Praise be to Yakub. African civilizations, huh? That's a funny way to pronounce Egypt. Isn't it suspect that the man they depict in this image learning these...
There were other civilizations. Stop it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Dumbass Greeks, some science and math is sub-Saharan. Considering the sub-Saharans didn't even have the written word or the wheel when Europeans arrived in the 1400s, that's because you're not used to new history.
New history? First of all, they did, though. They did have all these things. I hate his pubic hair cover face. Well, it is what it is. He's got a peachy little tone. What is he gonna do? Dumb fuck wheel argument. Yeah, I know, right?
New history is a form of ethnic revisionism, spiting actual history for representing whites in a positive light. It's a growing phenomenon in all forms of media.
So, whites haven't always been depicted in a positive light, and it certainly isn't a recent phenomenon. Like, have you read a book in your life about any of this stuff? Have you read a book about, I don't know, crusades or wars or anything that involved white people and whatever the other side of the conflict wasn't white people? Have you ever read an account from a non-white person's point of view on their interactions with white people? Because I'll tell you, there's a lot of them, and you start to see a theme during colonialist expansion and empire building and manifest destiny and shit like that. Barbarism. White barbarism. We're like the fucking worst, man. We come from a, not individually, but we come from a historical, like, bad group of people for the most part. Like, if you're a European settler descent, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to justify a lot of the things people doing. There's a large group of people that came over on propaganda hoping for a better life and then ended up just helping colonize and destroy people that were here already, even if their motivations were pure, Anyway, the whole problem from the jump has been capitalism, however. So, like, if there's no profit motive in slaves, would there be slavery,
Now it's even taken to Fortune 500 companies, courtesy of diversity hires helping to shit up a company built by the very people that they're attacking. According to these people, white people are causing division and oppression, and in typical communist fashion, they're accusing their enemies of what they themselves are actually doing. IBM, which is run by this guy, is teaching their white employees to hate themselves, dressed up in unsigned...
Wait, why is that? Ooh, run by this guy. Who's that guy? He's brown. We know that about him.
Scientific academic word salad propaganda that's supposed to represent an actual logical argument.
Yeah, none of this is word salad propaganda. All of this is logical.
And it's also time to get your 8th mandatory jab. Get to it. Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution stipulates that the U.S. shall protect every state in the Union against invasion. Yesterday, a record 15,000 illegals walked over the border.
The Supreme Court shut this down. The thing that someone got mad. Was it? God, now I have to go look at it. It was about the crossing shit, and you know what? That was my group chat. I'm not gonna open my phone and scroll through my fucking group chat right now. It wasn't on Twitter actually. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Anti-vax too, of course. Well, of course. I mean, he has to virtue signal all the different things. He brings them up just out of nowhere all the time. It sounds like he just wants to rant, and he's disenfranchised, and he doesn't really have a lot of options.
You'd think we'd be trying our executive branch for treason at this point. That's what a functioning United States would be doing anyway.
I really disagree with that. Treason? For border crossings? What are you talking about? Why are you so weird? Why do you hate these people so much? Should we address the problem of border crossings by keeping people from crossing the border, or should we address why they want to cross the border? What is the problem across the border? What's going on? Oh, there's drug cartels and shit on the edge that are destabilizing this country that we help destabilize regularly. Maybe we should stop the practices that destabilize our neighbors. Maybe we should help them. Maybe we shouldn't incentivize the drug trafficking into America by making these things, have black markets that only these cartel members seem to be able to provide, the market assistance for. Because there is a market for it, even if it's a black one. So, like, no, we couldn't do any systemic change to address any of this. We just have to vilify the people that are told with propaganda that America is the land of the free and you can dream here and have prosperity, only to be told at the door, actually, nope, we don't have enough prosperity for you, which is a fucking joke. Like, what a hilarious indictment on the American system in general. We're the most, we're the best, we're the greatest. And then one group of people knocks on your door and they're like, hey, can we have some food or something? And you turn them away at the door. There are multiple stories in the Bible, my Christian friend, that are all about hospitality. I mean, like Sodom and Gomorrah is a hospitality thing. Lot is saved initially because of his hospitality toward the angels. Anyway, this happens many times, man. I don't know. They just don't know it. They don't know anything about stuff. They're just boys. Boys with little tiny brains. Little tiny brains and soft cheeks.
Instead, the Colorado Supreme Court has removed Trump from the 2024 state election ballot.
And Maine, I believe, but not Michigan, which was interesting.
Citing the 14th Amendment, which was made to prevent ex-Confederacy members from running for office. This is what an actual attack on democracy looks like. This is election interference. Again, they accuse their enemy of what they're actually doing.
I really think the case against Donald Trump is solid. It seems, the prosecution is very convinced that they have it in the bag, man. Colorado rescinded it in appeals. Maybe. This dude's fucking eyebrows creep me out. Well, he can't help his eyebrows, okay, Blake?
Now, the Supreme Court will overrule this motion when the appeal hits their desk, as it's completely baseless and unlawful. No active charges exist against him, even on the subject of sedition, let alone is there any proof that he's been involved in any kind of insurrection. The Colorado Supreme Court are just batshit partisan hacks that are helping to set a terrible precedent for election fairness.
There's something about these guys. The monotone sort of way they deliver information is supposed to give them, like an air of an intellectualism or something. And instead it just makes it really hard for me to listen to him because everything sounds the same coming out of his voice. And he doesn't use any intonation. He doesn't have any fucking charisma. He isn't pulling me into what he's saying. I really have to try to stay here. It's tough. It's a tough watch.
They're interfering with an election unconstitutionally, and they should be charged for treason. They're Rocky Mountain goddamn high. Democracy is on the ballot. That's why we won't let you vote for Trump. Democracy now means that you get to vote for candidates that have been approved by liberal judges.
The leftists have been saying this, okay? I agree to some extent, but not for the reasons that you do, right? Like, my number one issue is that if you look back to every, president we've ever had, every official, every high-level official, they've all gone to like a handful of the same fucking schools, Yale, they've all gone to, they all have similar fucking nepotism lines. They all come from money. Very rarely does someone break through and really do it. There's a little spit thing happening in your mouth. I have to stop. There we go. I don't know what you're saying, but I have to just get rid of that. That was disgusting. Yeah, I have a problem with the way that the elite holds on to power, but you don't seem to have any understanding that involves capitalism. You're just like, let me slurp at the teat. I need a daddy. Yeah, I need a big pig to suck the teat of. And it's like, what if we didn't have to suck teats every day? Maybe we should make a movie where it's like everyone has to go and suck teats every day to make a job work. And every job is just disgusting things. I should get Cronenberg on this, but is Cronenberg a socialist? Probably not. Cronenberg's a fucking super transhumanist. I mean, literally, it's just like, I work hard for my corporate overlord. Like, you want kings, dog. What is this about?
Try literally anything to prevent Trump from running fairly. The mask is off, and there's no putting it back on. America has seen the face of the Uniparty and their arms in the media and justice system. There's no reason for them to stop. The ruling class has no allegiance to you, nor up to this point a reason to fear you. You know what's more important to the Pentagon and the Biden administration? Removing the Reconciliation Memorial in Arlington National Cemetery. Well, at least we know what our priorities are. Many people believe the radical left to be an organic, grassroots, revolutionary movement meant to liberate the oppressed majority from the ills of capitalism and whiteness. Well,
wow. If I smire my way through the description of the online left, well, then it will be right. Man, I just don't know why you have to be like that. Like, why you gotta be insane? It's like there's an insecurity about it, you know. Like you're like already on the offensive. You're already worried about people talking about it. You know. I believe that the leftists are quite grassroots. Every time there's been a leftist social revolution in America, the government has stamped it out. And it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to keep the genie in the bottle this time, and I think your time is up. I'm just saying. We're not going to get full-blown socialism or anything, but we're going to have to take some major, specifically in the terms of labor and its interaction with someone's like survival ability. And not just because I talk about it, because that's actually the really big fucking problem, right? We're talking about, do you need a job to have like a reasonable life and good quality living? And the answer should resoundingly be no. Not everyone has to work in this society for it to be functioning. It's just we're bloated by the idea that because capitalism is a thing, every single person has to toil 40 hours a week or they're trash. And it's obvious, literally obvious, that the market not only doesn't need it but doesn't want it. It's underemployed. We have fewer people employed than we need in a lot of or that we like. There are people that do not need to be employed for any other reason than they need to pay their bills. Right? We don't need everyone to toil. We could have people enriching, and we could also have, if we don't need everybody, we don't need everyone to work full time. We could have everybody work part time. We could have lots of people work part time. It really doesn't have to be. I don't know. People are so fucking obsessed with you have to work, or you don't get nothing. You don't get nothing. Because they're so conditioned by capitalism to just fucking hate each other. Hate anyone that has anything they don't have. And it's just so fucking, it consumes you. So yeah, I mean, it's a problem, man. You just agree that, like, and then instead of, you're fighting me instead of fighting the fucking kings that you're sucking the dick of to pay your rent, dude. Like, fuck.
Oh, it's not. It's capitalism in its most extreme form, and you are the currency. Why do you think postmodernism is propagated largely by the very rich and powerful? Do you think the people that are cunning and self-serving enough to earn positions in the top 0.01% are benevolent people? No. They see you as farm equipment, and to believe their MO is life, liberty, and happiness, all while advocating for the mass illegal invasion.
Who do you think Donald Trump is? You fuck? Are you kidding me? It's crazy to say this and then exclude Donald Trump from that.
Of the West is what some people call magical thinking. I call it stupidity. Here's 100,000 people in a stadium. If yesterday's illegal entry number holds, this is how many illegals will be invading the USA every 7 days.
Oh no, we don't have the space. They're invading.
To the 20-year-old college student watching this, do you think Democrats are flooding this country for your benefit? Well, I gotta tell you something. You're not being inclusive. You're not being open-minded. You're being conquered.
Democrats? So, this is just Charlie Kirk Great Replacement Theory shit. I mean, we're literally just talking about being replaced here. Being conquered because they're letting the Mexicans in or whatever. They've been saying this shit since you were a zygote, man. You're too. I can't tell if you're 35 or 25. I can't tell.
Wake the fuck up. This is not a video game. The world is not an echo chamber Twitch stream. The purpose of your ideology is oligarchic domination of those who are not deemed worthy of the ruling class, which is about 99.999% of you, to eliminate competition. They're moving to eradicate opposing ideologies, namely Western philosophy and Christianity.
Oh my fucking God. How can you acknowledge the problem with capitalism is the insane wealth gap, right? And then say that you agree with Christianity? You fucking idiot. How are these people so stupid? Why? How can you not have... So you have an issue with the power structure, but not all the facets of the power structure? Man? He's just too damn racist to see what's right in front of him. I mean, it really... it must be a block on that. I don't know.
These beliefs are held predominantly by white people. Things like inalienable rights, freedom of speech, the right to proper self-defense, unwillingness to worship oligarchs and politicians.
You literally worship oligarchs and you're talking about Trump like he's some kind of savior that they're keeping from you. What does he think? How does he think he is not doing this?
The very beliefs that powerful people are dismayed exist among the herd. The very foundations of affluent Western society. Essentially your entire existence and how you view the world. When you see highly produced pieces of anti-white propaganda, what you're actually seeing is the intensely psychotic impulse to subjugate humanity. Have you ever noticed how ridiculously sleazy these productions feel? How inauthentic and artistically devoid they are? That's because they're not the products of artists and visionaries. They're soulless propaganda. You want to know...
What does he think it's propaganda? the movie, he's mad about the movie. But he talked about the movie for 15 seconds. Man, you should read books about white people from non-white perspectives, I think it would help.
Know why something like Lord of the Rings didn't have the inexplicable inclusion of morbidly obese elves? Why wizards weren't cast as short, gay Indian men? That's because...
What?
Because of artistic integrity.
Artistic integrity? Just because he didn't make... If Gandalf had always been a short, gay, brown guy, you would be like, okay, that's who Gandalf is. But the guy who wrote it was a white Englishman, and so all of his characters were white Englishmen. Surprise. Why is he bringing up the American Society?
Because when an artist wants to make a piece of art, they're not concerned with arbitrary diversity quotas. Visionaries don't give a flaming...
It's not arbitrary. People are making a conscious decision just to involve people in this thing. Are you mad about Lord of the Rings inclusivity now? Like there's a black elf and he's mad or something? Was there a morbidly obese elf? I don't remember a morbidly obese elf in the Lord of the Rings. Would you be mad about a morbidly obese elf? He's just moderately obese, so it's fine. Moderately obese elves, totally fine.
Fuck about diversity, and neither do people who enjoy real art. As any remotely enlightened consumer of film or literature will tell you, art doesn't...
He's an enlightened consumer of film and art. Not just remotely enlightened, however. Quite enlightened.
Not apologize. But of course, successful artists are growing increasingly scarce as oligarchs tighten their control over the media industrial complex. The media is their baby. The media is their primary method of conditioning. They'll continue to demonize people who stand in their way until they're capable of utilizing less subtle means. That's why they want your rifles and don't give a shit about your handguns, because it's about power.
So leftists aren't trying to give up their weapons to a government that is arming their police.
Less power for you, More power from my armed security detail. They don't want you being able to fire long-distance rounds, because tyrants don't want to have to worry about crossing the line, especially because they don't even know exactly where the line is.
The technology now is, and digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power, and we have seen the first examples, and your company very much involved into it. But then the next step could be...
Like, I agree the billionaires are bad. I don't understand how he supports the right-wing positions he does, and he's also against the capitalism. He's like nominally against the capitalism or something? I don't know. We are literally in another renaissance because of the internet, yeah.
To go into a prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore, because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be.
Yeah. He doesn't know a lot of stuff. I hate pseudo-intellectuals, man. Just be a guy. Just be a fella. You know, pretending to profess some kind of expertise. He said he tries to use multi-syllabic words to sound really intelligent. It's not really working. And then his critique is billionaires are bad, but not this billionaire or that billionaire, not the Republican billionaires really, and none of their billionaire handlers. Nope. Dumbass. Just mad about a movie making fun of white people, man.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
I think I'm gonna be the spokesperson for white people. We can take it. It's okay. You can make an accurate jab now and then, okay? You have a pass from me. He's just parroting bigger slime merchants. I mean, really, it is. That's pretty much it. That'll probably be the last time I watch that guy. Not a very engaging individual, you know.